Okay, welcome to Pilates for this evening. I'm Debbie. We're going to just focus on more relaxation and just some less intense movement today, just because it's so warm. So let's take a lie down on the floor. Obviously, move around. You don't want to be lying. You can always do breathing seated if you prefer. Okay. So bring yourself ever so slowly to the floor. Now just remember, we want to make sure the neck is nice and long. So just tuck the chin in, find length up to the neck. If you feel the head wants to lift up, even though you're trying to tuck your head in, just pop a cushion or two behind your neck to encourage the length. Okay, when you're ready, just balance into both shoulder blades. Just become aware of them and let them sink down to the floor. Balancing into your sacrum, that lower part of your spine, and bringing your feet hip distance apart. Spreading the toes out nice and wide, let them sink down to the floor. And we want to relax into our abdominals for this. We're going to focus on some belly breathing. So if you want to take one hand on your rib cage and one hand on your tummy, otherwise they can just stay relaxed on the floor. If you can, relax the elbows down. And then just focus on breathing in through your nose and breathing out through your nose or mouth, whichever suits you best, it doesn't matter. You may want to close your eyes for this. So breathing in and breathing out. Now as you breathe in, we want to start to encourage the rib cage to open and expand. Activate the openness up through your diaphragm. And as you breathe out, just soften and relax. And you may also notice that as your rib cage lifts and expands, your belly inflates and deflates. Don't worry if you're not there, it's not a problem. We all breathe slightly differently. Hi, welcome to Pilates today. I'm Debbie. Because it's so hot, we're going to make sure it's quite a relaxed, chilled session. So we're going to come to start lying on the floor. If you don't want to start with your breathing exercise lying down, you can always come to seated if you prefer. So just take the time to come down to the floor. Now we want to be aware of what's happening with the neck. We want to make sure the chin tucks in, and you want to be able to see more in front of you than behind you. If you feel the chin is lifting slightly, just pop a cushion if you've got one handy underneath your head so you can keep that lovely long neck alignment. Just notice your shoulders. Allow them to sink down into the floor. Just become aware of them. And then if you want to place one hand on your rib cage, one hand on your tummy, elbows sink down. You can always bring them down to the floor whenever you need to. We're balancing into our sacrum, so that lower part of your spine, find the balance between both sides into our pelvis, and feet hip distance apart. Just spreading your toes out nice and wide. So we're going to focus a little bit on belly breathing. Now don't worry if you don't get into belly breathing straight away. Sometimes it takes time, it depends on how busy a day you've had. So let's just start connecting with our breath. So breathing in through your nose and breathing out through your nose or your mouth, you prefer. So take your time to find that initial connection with your breath. As you breathe in, you may notice with the hand on the rib cage wants to expand as you breathe in, and as you breathe out, it relaxes back down again. So hopefully the rib cage is expanding, not just through the front, but also through the back of your body. That's engaging through your diaphragm. And then you may notice it straight away, but it may take some time. As you breathe in also that your belly starts to get larger.
expand. Your hand comes with you, and as you exhale, everything releases back down again. Now, if it gets too much with your hands on the ribcage or your abdominals, just relax the arms down by your side with the palms facing up to ceiling. And just encourage the breath to continue. And just make sure as we breathe, we're relaxing our neck, softening into our shoulders. And just let any tension you're feeling disappear. Right, slowly when you're ready, just going to open your eyes. And we're going to find our neutral spine. We want to stay balanced on our sacrum, find a little connection between our ribs and hips. So neutral spine is when you can slide your hands roughly underneath your back, but you can feel a little activation through the abdominals, but we're not bracing and pulling our lower back down to the floor. So we want to find that slight connection. Okay, we're just going to start with sliding our heel down our mat, lengthening at the end without overlocking our knee, and drawing it back in again. Now, if you don't want to extend it all the way, you don't have to. And we change sides. If we can, we breathe out as we extend and breathe in to return. Now, as you do this, just be aware that we're staying level through both sides of our pelvis. If you feel like you're losing a little bit of that, just don't take the leg quite so far. And maybe as you extend, just feel a little bit of openness into the hip flexor as that all connects into the abdominals as well. So we're breathing out to extend and breathing in to come back. If you can, obviously, it's difficult if your mat catches up with you, but hopefully you've got space that we can just lengthen the leg away and draw it straight backward. We'll do one more time each side. Now trying to stop putting too much pressure into the supported leg. I know, easier said than done. But then we find that we've got a little bit more activation to our abdominals if we try not to put too much weight into the supporting leg. All right, bring yourself back to center. Again, just make sure the feet are hip distance apart. Just relaxing once more through your sacrum. Right, palms face the floor, tucking the chin in. We're going to reach the arms up in line with the shoulders, and then draw the shoulder blades down towards the ribcage. That didn't make sense. Rise it up, and I mean, draw the shoulders all the way to the hip bones. That makes a little bit more sense. So let's breathe in, fingertips face the ceiling, shoulders stay down and back. Exhale as we draw the shoulder blades down. Now see if you can do this and bring awareness into your abdominals as you actively draw the shoulder blades down towards the hips. Now make sure as you lift, my arm is no higher than my shoulder and I'm controlling the movement the whole way. We've got long arms, but we're not locking out at any point. Right, this time the arms are going to stay up. Just rotate if it feels comfortable, the palms facing in towards each other. Just relax the shoulders down from your ears and relax through the neck. We're going to draw one shoulder blade ever so slightly off the floor, slide it back down again, and then change sides. So it's a small movement. If you feel that your neck is wanting to join in, then make it a little bit smaller. Breathing out one side, breathing in the other. So just notice if you're feeling any tension in your neck, just keep the movement a little bit smaller. All right, last one. Let the shoulders sink down and back. Again, just draw the shoulders away from the ears. This time, we're just going to take the arms overhead, but only go as far as the rib cage stays down, and we keep the activation to the center. And then we come back up in line with shoulders. So arms just underneath the line of shoulders. If I lift too high, you notice I'm there. So I'm just over my chest. So we breathe out as the arms come overhead, shoulders away from ears. Breathe in to come back. So as I lift my arm, my rib cage is not wanting to lift up, it's staying down. And also focusing on the abdominals, not wanting to over exaggerate. They don't want to pop up, they're staying down. So breathing out, elbows long but not locked, and breathing in. If you feel the shoulders are wanting to come up by your ears, and take the arms overhead, just going a little bit too far. And you've got one more. Nice and slowly, take your time, feel the control of the movement. And then we're going to bring those arms all the way back down to the floor. Relax the palms down, shoulders away from ears. Okay. I'm going to focus a little bit on pelvic floors. We did a little bit last week. We're just going to add to it this week. So we want to draw our coccyx bone through to our pubic bone and then release. So we're drawing the coccyx bone through to our pubic bone and then releasing. Now remember, when you do this, drawing the coccyx bone through to your pubic bone, we are not clenching our bottom cheeks. We are not using our thighs. You may feel it deep into your abdominals, but you don't want to feel it through the surface muscles of your abdominals. And see if you can add your breath, breathing out as you engage, breathing in to release. Don't worry if you can't add your breath. Now, so we're going to be thinking of the coccyx bone moving to our pubic bone. So the pelvic floor is a diamond shape. So you want to think about the four corners of the diamond. So we're now going to think about engaging also through our sitting bones. So the bones just in our bottom cheeks, you've got your coccyx bone and your pubic bone going down. So you want to now imagine those four corners coming together and then releasing. So we're now thinking about coccyx bone to pubic bone, two sitting bones drawing together and releasing. If that's too much, just think about it's the same similar movement, to be fair, but you're then just thinking about the coccyx bone coming to your pubic bone. It takes time to actually feel the activation sometimes. Perseverance is key. So breathing out as we draw our diamond shape together. Breathing in to release. Just find that initial control. And just be careful of the connection, not wanting to take over in your bottom cheeks, through your thighs, and into your actual abdominals. We're focusing on the deep activation. It can help just to put your fingertips on your hip bones, and you may feel a little flutter. You may feel something going on in your deep abdominals. Or you may not straight away, that may just come in time. Right, you've got one more. And then relax. So just relax that movement. We're just going to do a little bit of release work, but with control. So hands on your ribcage, elbows on the floor, shoulders slide down and back. Nice long neck again. Feet stay hip distance apart. Now we want to make sure when we do this movement, the rib cage stays up towards the ceiling, and we're going to not take a big move, it's going to be quite small. So we're going to let the knees slowly come over to one side. The hip doesn't lift off the floor, come back to center, and then to the other. So it's a small movement. I'm releasing down from my lower back, but my bottom cheek stays on the floor. My rib cage stays up to ceiling. So I breathe out as I go up, and I breathe in to rise. So we just take it nice and slowly, so we're fully aware that we're not dropping into the movement, we're keeping control throughout. And because we've just activated our pelvic floor and our abdominals with their heel slides, you may feel them activating as we draw back up again. Breathing out, slowly breathing in. We've got one more turn each side, shoulders stay soft. And then take the time, bring yourself back to the center point. Taking your time to reset shoulders, neck, balancing through the sacrum, keeping your feet hip distance apart, but bringing your hands to your hip bones, elbows relaxed on the floor. So we're going to come into some single knee drops because we can add those into our pelvic floor as we progress through the weeks. So we want to keep one knee and hip ever so still. And then, so my back knee and hip stays still, and my front knee ever so slightly drops out. I've got no movement through the opposite side. And I reckon, have a glass of wine on my knee and it'll be fine. We change sides. So stabilize first. Taking the knee ever so slightly out to the side. Just notice if the hip wants to move. If it does, you're going too far. You want to keep the hip bone facing up to the ceiling and try and keep this knee as still as possible. So staying balanced through your sacrum. So also being aware of what's happening in the back of your body, as well as the knee and hip, and then slowly rising. This one's never about how far you can go. It's always about how much stability we've got through our hips, our sacrum, through this leg that doesn't actually move, because then we've got that control into the abdominals and also into our pelvis stabilizing muscles. We breathe out if you can to lower, and breathe in to slowly rise. The other thing I want you to try and think about, don't worry, I'll give you a lot of information, so just stay with whatever works for you. So with this leg that's staying still, you want to make sure we don't put too much pressure in it. So we're not putting so much pressure into the supporting leg that actually it's taking away from activating into the abdominals and into that pelvic stabilizing muscle, into our glute med. So slowly breathing out as we take the knee wide. Breathing in to slowly come back. Just letting the shoulders soften. And you've got to really listen to your body. Slower is always better to find that control. And as fatigue sets in, you might notice that the hip wants to roll ever so slightly, or you might get a little bit of a wobble. If you need to, just take it slowly. All right, last one each side, if you're still with me. Breathing out. And breathing in to come back. And then just take recovery. Right, relax the arms down. Bring one knee in towards the chest. And if it feels comfortable, bring the other one in. Just take an ever so small rock from side to side. Just release any tension into your lower back. Relaxing through your neck and shoulders. Just hold it centered. Maybe draw the knees a little bit higher if they want to come, otherwise stay where you are. Okay, bring one leg back down to the floor and then bring the other one down. Okay, so we're coming back into that arm movement we were doing, but we'll put the two sections together and then we'll add the legs. We'll just give a little bit of relaxation to the lower body first before we add these in. So reaching the arms nice and long, shoulders away from the ears. So let's take the arms up above the shoulders, rotate to face the palms in, and then take the thumbs overhead, elbows lengthen but not locked, and then bring them up to ceiling, rotate, and the palms come down to the floor. So arms rise, breathe in, rotate, rib cage stays away, rib cage stays down, shoulders stay away from the ears. And then we rise. It doesn't matter that if you can't get the thumbs down to the floor. This again, just making sure as you lift the rib cage stays down and the shoulders don't want to come all the way up to ears. Okay, last one. Lovely. Okay, we're going to come back to our heel slides, and if you want to, we're going to take the opposite arm above the head. Otherwise, you can just stay with the legs or the arms. So reset and find the balance again through each side of your sacrum. That little neutral spine connection between the ribs and the hips. So we slide my front leg away, and the opposite arm, if you want to, lifts above the head. Again, we're keeping the rib cage down, focusing up through the center, and the shoulders staying down and back. We slowly bring everything back. Changing sides, breathing out as we extend. Again, remember not to overextend through the knee or the elbow. We want length, but we don't want it to go too far. So we breathe out as we extend and breathe in to return. Keep thinking about length all the way through your neck. And just let your breath help you relax your body and finding the flow of the movement. All right, last one. Bring your arms back down by your side. Feet again hip distance apart. Take your time to get back there. Relax the shoulders back down into your mat. And find balance through the sacrum. So feet and heels close-ish to your bottom, but it doesn't want to be all the way in. So you want to have a little bit of space. So we're coming to a few little pelvic tilts to start with. Again, smaller is always better to start with. So we let our lower back sink down to the mat and bring yourself back to neutral. Now, if you feel your bottom wants to lift off, it means that you're going a little bit too far, or it could mean that your lower back feels a little bit tight today. So if you can, breathing out as your lower back sinks down, breathing in to come back to neutral. Now you can stay with that if you want to, otherwise we'll come into a small bridge. So heels press into the floor, you peel up, keep it small to begin with, and then think about lengthening through the spine as you lower. Relaxing tension through the neck and shoulders. Using the arms to stabilize yourself, make sure the hips are level. and the knees are in line with hips. Now, if you're doing this on the bed, just stay with basic pelvic tilts rather than lifting. Breathing out and then breathing in. You've got one more if you want it. So really take your time, connecting one vertebra at a time. It's never about how far you lift. It's about how we can release down through our spine. Okay, when you're at the bottom, we're coming back into relaxation. So if you want to come back to the movement we were doing at the beginning, you're more than welcome to. So one hand on the ribcage, one hand on the abdominals. You may notice a difference, that is, you feel the breath flows a little bit more easily. Or you may just want to relax the arms on the floor and just focus on relaxing your body down, you choose. So get yourself in a position that feels good for you, lying down, seated, wherever you want to be. And again, just be mindful that we've got balance through both sides of the body, through our pelvis, through our shoulders. Maybe closing your eyes. Relaxing tension away, we don't want to find neutral spine anymore. And then focusing back into your breath. Breathing in through your nose. And again, it's up to you if you want to breathe out through your mouth or your nose. You've got one hand on your belly, one hand on your ribs. How does it feel this time? Do you feel they naturally want to expand? Do you feel it's easier than before? Okay, breathing and breathing in and out the nose can help really calm our vagus nerve, which is responsible for keeping us calm. As you continue your breath, just notice if you're holding on to anywhere. Just see if you can relax and let everything sink deeper into your mat, your bed, depending on where you are today. Now, if you want to stay wherever you are, please stay there. If you want to bring some movement back, you may want to wiggle your fingers. You may want to wiggle your toes. You may want to ever so gently take your head, tapping the chin in, over towards one side. Bring yourself back up to center. And then ever so slowly to the other, just to release any tension into your neck. About choosing what feels good for you. And then if it feels good, you may want to roll onto your side. Ever so slowly, then bring yourself back to seated. Or wherever feels comfortable for you. Legs crossed or long, whatever suits you. And just sinking into both bottom cheeks, lifting long through the spine. And just finishing with a breath, even if you're lying down. Breathing in to rise, exhaling to release. Beautiful work. Please do let me know if you've got any questions.